So it's the beginning of August and I thought I would do a little bit of a garden tour. We've got all these butter beans growing like mad. I'm not entirely sure if they climb because they've got these little like stems on them, but I guess we're gonna find out. Over here, our lettuce and our peas are doing absolutely amazing. We keep them in this cage just to stop the possums. And here we've got some more butter beans. We've got some beetroot that's coming up down here. The beetroot seems to be doing very well in this garden. We put a potato plant in here and we move the compost bin. We do have to keep putting soil around that potato. Our ornamental radishes aren't doing too well. They just seem to be very leafy and not very, they don't have very big roots yet. So they may take a little bit longer, or maybe they're just going to seed. Not entirely sure what's going on with them. Over here, our corn is doing very well. Seeing it is, winter. We've got some cherry tomatoes here, but unfortunately that possum has got to them and eaten the tops of them. So that's a pain in the butt. Our carrots are doing very well. I've never really had much success with carrots, but as you can see, these ones are doing great. Got more beetroot over here. Our spring onions at the back there. Also our pickling gherkins. Got a couple capsicum plants at the back. Our lettuce we've put in these cages just to stop the possum from eating it. In here we've also got chilies. So you can see through here the chilies are slowly coming up. Here's a whole bunch of them. There's some more back there. Our squash is doing very well. We've got a couple of plants popping up along here. Sweet potato is doing okay for winter. It's not going crazy, but I expect in spring and summer it will be doing a lot better. We've cleared out this bed and we've moved the herbs. You'll see them later on in the video. Over here, our cauliflower / broccoli are doing very well. I'm hoping that they get heads very soon, although I'm not entirely sure if they will. You can see these leaves are absolutely ginormous though. Our radishes are just about ready to harvest. We're probably going to harvest them either today or tomorrow. More than likely tomorrow. You can see down here they're quite large. These are the Miller radishes. There's one right there. And they're probably about as long as my finger and probably about as thick, so they should be ready to come out about now. I don't want them to get too hot and too peppery. Got a potato in a tire, which is always fun because as the potato plant grows, you just keep adding in your grass clippings and you can add in manure and stuff like that to kind of keep them growing and let the tubers kind of shoot off into it. Plus it's a lot easier to harvest because you just take these off. George's sunflowers are doing very well here. You can see it's starting to go to seed. The seed is starting to form just back here. There we go. So hopefully we'll be able to get some seeds from that. Down here our little cat box is doing quite well. We've got our cat's nip in here. We've got the cat grass and lemongrass because for some reason our cat really likes to eat lemongrass. Got a wine bottle, and all I did with this wine bottle to make it kind of self-watering is I put a bunch of holes in the top, in the lid, and then I just pushed it down into the soil, and I haven't had to fill that up in probably about 2 days, and it's slowly going down, so every time the pot dries out it lets more moisture out into it. Got some more sunflowers which are popping up here, and a tiny little ladybug in there. Back over here we have got the new herb bed. We've got all the herbs that were in the main bed planted over here. Now you can see the peppermint. The only thing that's not doing too well, wow, this chamomile is doing very well. I didn't expect that. The only thing that's not doing too well right now is the catnip back there. And I think that was just because it was too leafy. We shouldn't have transplanted it so leafy, but I'm sure it'll come back. But they all seem a lot happier here. This is just a box of random stuff. We haven't really put anything in it. Down here's our aloe vera, and this herb basket is doing very well. So you can see it's got parsley in here. The mint is going absolutely crazy. And these are garlic chives. We've also got some oregano in there. But I have a feeling that the mint might take over. Another herb basket. Over here we've got our blueberry plant, which seems to be dying off a fair bit, but it's got these tiny little new buds on it. So I'm hoping that they grow some new leaves or some flowers. Got garlic just planted in here, still going strong. Our strawberries, which I'm very excited about, are doing very well. You can see it's got some strawberries on it now. Some more flowers. This one even has some strawberries on it, right there. So I'm quite excited to see if those produce nice strawberries. Look at them. But marigolds, of course, are still flowering over in this bed. We've also got our Chinese cabbage, which I didn't really have much hope for, but it has gone crazy this last, I don't know, 2 weeks. Might have something to do with the liquid fertilizer I've been putting on it. But you can see they're very strong leaves. They haven't really been attacked too much. Down here we've got our sparkler radishes, which I think are just about ready to harvest. I don't like letting my radishes get too long and stringy and woody. So normally I would harvest them probably about that size. You can see that one in there. I usually harvest them when they're about that. So we've got quite a few in here. We didn't really bother thinning them out. You can see it's become a bit of a problem over here with just the roots not having enough space to develop, but you know, they're just going to keep pushing up. Parsley, of course, is doing really well. That's one thing we never really fail with, is the parsley. We've got our capsicums in here. These are the Californian Wonder, so they're doing okay. More beetroot. This beetroot isn't doing as well as the other places, but I think that's just to do with a lot of the weeds and the grass that's growing up in between them. Back here we've got our Madagascar beans. We've got a very sad and healthy looking plant here, which is probably going to come out and we'll plant something else there. Or we might just chop it down at the base and plant like maybe a lettuce plant, just so it can keep fixing that nitrogen into the soil. Rainbow chard doing very well here. We've got our Madagascar beans starting to send out their little climbers. The choco is doing absolutely amazing. Every day it seems to grow another 5 inches, so it's hooking onto the trellis now. And this is the white choco variety. You see the white choco down there that I planted it from? More Madagascar beans. These ones are doing a lot better. Very healthy, these ones. And our tomatoes, which I'm like most proud of, because I never really thought we'd have much success with tomatoes here in the middle of winter, just because it's so cold. But they are doing absolutely crazy. You can see a whole bunch of flowers on them. This is our Roma tomato. I'm sure there's tomatoes, oh, here they are. Just around here starting to form. We've got a whole bunch of them. If I can get in there, down here. These are the cherry tomatoes. There we go. So we've got cherry tomatoes coming up. Should be ready to harvest soon. Everything seems to be doing very well in this bed. And we recently just planted these tomatoes in. So as soon as these ones are kind of done growing and producing, hopefully these ones will be up and giving us some more fruit. Got some basil plants in between. Spring onions, they're all falling down just because I just watered, but they're doing very well. We've got our celery over there, which the celery seeds have come up around it, as you can see down the bottom. And I'll show you the rocket in a second, because that's probably the one thing that's grown the most in our garden over the last, couple of weeks. There's a train going past. New Zealand spinach is doing well. It's starting to actually get taller, so that's quite cool to see. Over here we have our silver beet. The silver beet's doing very well. We've put down some chicken manure down here, so I think the nitrogen is just kind of making these grow a little bit healthier. Also got our onions over there, you can see them popping up. Over here, I will show you the rocket. So this rocket is, we've been harvesting this for salads and stuff like that, because these leaves are quite big. There we go. And they're not too peppery, which is surprising, because normally I'm not a massive fan of rockets, but these ones seem to be more sweet than peppery, so not sure what's going on there, but I enjoy it. Celery, doing very well. Back over here, we actually planted a couple of things in here. We have got pumpkins growing here. These are the Queensland Blue variety. Some peas at the back, which we just kind of threw in just to give the nitrogen into the soil. Got some corn popping up back there too. But if you look down here, these are all lettuce plants. We thought we would plant lettuce at the front of this bed, and we've got some radishes popping up over there too. So, also, one thing, we hardly look after these, but these are all broccoli plants. So maybe we'll move them, maybe we'll keep them here, not entirely sure yet. But yeah, all in all, the garden is doing very well. You can see it all here. You got your cauliflower, you got your bed there. I'm super excited to harvest these radishes though. You can see them all popping up out of the ground. Look at this one. They're like very red too. So yeah, the garden's doing quite well. And I'm excited to see what is going to happen in the next couple of months as we come into spring.